Now that you've successfully identified several classroom situations where procedures are necessary, it's now time to look at the three-step approach for teaching procedures. This short video will introduce and help you to remember the three-step approach for teaching procedures. Step 1 of the three-step approach is to explain the procedure. First, you'll need to clearly state the procedure to your students. Second, explain the importance of the procedure. And lastly, you'll need to demonstrate the procedure for your students. Although some students learn the procedure through verbal instruction, most students need visual instruction as well to really help them remember how to correctly execute the procedure. Step 2 of the three-step approach is to rehearse the procedure. Rehearsing your procedure essentially means practicing the procedure. There are several ways that you can rehearse procedures. First, you could call on individual students and ask them to restate the procedure back to you. Or second, you could have individuals, groups, or the entire class practice the procedure correctly under your supervision. And of course, rehearse as many times as necessary. Step 3 of the three-step approach is to reinforce the procedure. Continually practice and rehearse the procedure until it becomes a habit or routine, not only for your students, but for you, the teacher, as well. If the procedure is done incorrectly, immediately have the students redo the procedure so it's correctly. It's important that you have them redo the procedure and not just explain to them what they should have done. On the other hand, if the procedure is done correctly, give lots of positive feedback. To help you remember the three-step approach for teaching procedures, we're going to introduce the mnemonic PERR, P-E-R-R. The first letter, P, stands for procedure, or how to teach the procedures. Each of the following three letters represents one of the steps in the three-step approach. The E stands for explain the procedure. The first R stands for rehearse the procedure, and the second R stands for reinforce the procedure. Let's go ahead and review the information that we've looked at in this video. After each question, there will be a short pause. Use that time to individually answer each question. Question 1. How can you remember the three-step approach to teaching procedures? To help you remember the three-step approach, we introduce the mnemonic PERR, P-E-R-R. Just remember the order of the letters and it will help you remember the steps in the three-step approach. Question 2 says, what does each letter stand for? Besides the first letter, which stands for procedure, each letter represents one of the steps in the three-step approach. The E stands for explain the procedure. The first R stands for rehearse the procedure, and the second R stands for reinforce the procedure. Now that you've learned the three-step approach to teaching procedures and also have learned a mnemonic to help you remember it, it's now time to take what you've learned and apply it to the next part of the instruction, which is to practice the three-step approach in your classroom.